I am SergeantM, and today I'm starting some Pokemon challenges. I've been watching them from a YouTuber who inspired this series named Mah-Dry-Bread. So today, we are going to see if I can beat Pokemon Fire Red with a team of only one Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is a fossil Pokemon with a rock and flying type mixed with high speed and attack, with the rest being fairly decent. He is also 2 times weak to rock, steel, water, electric, and ice, resistant to normal, flying, poison, bug, and fire, with an overall immunity to ground. Aerodactyl doesn't learn many moves by level up, however, he learns a lot of useful TMs we can use later on. Just like with Mah-Dry-Bread, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment below and guess if I can win or not. I think this might be harder than I think it is going to be, so I'll need to be prepared for the worst. I get fairly annoyed at a ton of losses, so hopefully I can keep calm and collected so I don't have any unnecessary losses. Alright, let me explain the rules. In combat, I will only be allowed to use Aerodactyl. I can use other Pokemon for HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of them in battle. No glitches or exploits. No items in battle. Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat will be allowed. Anyway, on with the challenge. To start off, I used a universal randomizer to replace Charmander with Aerodactyl, so we can use him for the whole run, as he is not obtained until Cinnabar Island. I choose to replace Charmander to give a rival the advantage with Squirtle. I name my Aerodactyl Dino, after the television show The Flintstones. Our Aerodactyl is a naive nature, which raises speed and lowers our special defense, which sucks, as special defense is our higher of the lower stats. Once the battle starts, I use Wing Attack and do more damage than I thought. Squirtle uses Tail Whip, and 1 Wing Attack later, we get the win. That battle was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Because the first gym is Rock type, it's time to grind. Our next attacking move will be at level 15, which is Bite. We will need this as Wing Attack and Agility aren't going to cut it. At level 8, I tried our optional rival battle on Route 22. He starts off with Pidgey at level 9. I knock it out with 1 critical Wing Attack and next set is Squirtle. I use another Wing Attack, bringing it to half health. Squirtle then uses Tail Whip, just like our first battle. I use Wing Attack again, and it just hangs on with 1 HP. Squirtle uses Tackle, dealing very little damage as we resist normal type moves, and 1 Wing Attack later, we win the battle and we level up to level 9. Back to the grind. Now that we reach level 15, I try the first gym. The gym trainer goes down very easily, and Brock starts off by sending out Geodude. I use 1 Bite and bring Geodude down 3/4 health. He then uses Tackle, and 1 more Bite takes out Geodude. Next up is Onix. I use Bite again, take him down only 1/4 health. Onix uses Rock Tomb, taking me down to 30 health. I use Bite again and take him to red health. And he uses Rock Tomb again, taking me down to 13 HP. This isn't looking good, and I believe Brock is going to heal up. However, I used Bite and luckily Brock didn't heal, so Onix goes down, giving us the Boulder Badge and the ability to use Flash. After defeating Brock, we head to Route 3 toward Mount Moon and Cerulean City. The trainers here are easy as they're all lower level than Brock. However, there is a huge level gap in Cerulean, so we need as many levels from trainers as possible to have an easier time grinding, as Aerodactyl takes forever to gain XP. I grind to Mount Moon until I reach level 30. This took forever. Reason being, Misty's a water type gym, which is one of our major weaknesses, so I need to overlevel for this fight. We learn Ancient Power at level 29, a 60 base power 100% accuracy move. This will come in handy later for Lieutenant Surge. To borrow a bit from Mah-Dry-Bread, on our way through Mount Moon, I grabbed a Delm Fossil. I knew if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Now that I think about it, ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. When we get to Cerulean, I decide to take on a rival first. He starts with his Pidgeotto. I use 1 Ancient Power to knock it out, next is Squirtle. I use Bite to take it down half health, and he uses Withdraw. 1 more Bite takes it out. Next is Abra, and I use 1 Bite to knock it out, and last is Rattata. He uses Quick Attack to get the only attacking move on me this fight. 1 Wing Attack later wins us the fight. We are now so over leveled for him, this wasn't even fair. But we needed to be if we wanted to beat Misty. We enter the gym, and I find out real quick I may have overleveled just a bit much as we destroy the gym trainers. Once we reach Misty, she starts off as Staryu. I use 1 Bite, bringing it to red health. She uses Harden, raising her defense, and then uses a Super Potion. Due to our speed though, we hit 2 consecutive bites to take it down, and next out is Starmie. I use Bite, bringing it to yellow health. Starmie flinches, and 1 bite later, we win the Cascade Badge. Before leaving, we save Bill and receive the SSN ticket. Then, we beat up Team Rocket on our way to Vermilion City. We then try to go through to Saffron City, but the guard wants his damn Tim Hortons tea and won't let me pass until he gets it. Once in Vermilion, we grab the Versus Seeker from the purple-haired lady in the Poké Center. This is going to be a lifesaver later down the line when we need to level up. Next, we listen to the Pokemon Fan Club president talk about his Rapidash. What he likes to do with it. Simply remarkable. I received the bike voucher. Once we get to the SSN, we battle our rival. He starts off with Pidgeotto as usual. Of course, 1 Ancient Power knocks it out, and all our stats actually raise 1 stage. Next is Wartortle. We use Bite, taking him down to yellow health, and he flinches. 1 more bite takes out, and next is Kadabra. 1 bite is more than enough to take it out, and last out is Raticate. 1 bite later, and we kill his fucking Raticate. We then head upstairs, give the captain a back rub, and he hands us a knife. I mean HMO1 cut. Now we can challenge a gym. I also take a moment to realize that there are no windows in the captain's quarters. How is he supposed to go and steer the ship when he can't even see where he's going? It's funny how I've never actually noticed this until now. It's gym time, and it doesn't give me much of trouble aside from one of the trainers paralyzing me, and I can't attack for a few turns. It takes me 2 attempts at the stupid gym puzzle. Seriously, they could have designed a much better puzzle for this gym. Anyway, Surge time, and he starts off with Voltorb. I one-shot it with Ancient Power. Then the same thing happens when he sends out Pikachu, and then again, the same thing with Raichu. This gym was such a pushover, and his electric types are super effective against my part flying type. After Vermilion, I head back to Cerulean to get the bike. I also catch some Pokemon so that I can get the HM for Flash. Remember, Pokeballs are allowed to be used in battle. Next, we travel through everyone's favorite part of the game. Rock Tunnel. Luckily, I picked up Flash, so it won't be as bad as usual. It seems we can actually see where we're going for once. After 15 minutes, we finally get through and reach Lavender Town. However, we can't do anything here right now, so we just pass on through and head to Celadon City. Kanto would be so much easier to navigate if Saffron wasn't shut down. Gym time, and it's not even close to a challenge. I know I'm saying this a lot, but damn, this gym is a total sleeper. I go through without even being hit once. Just take a look at the footage here. The goal was spam Wing Attack and everything faints in 1 hit. Erica time. She starts off Victory Bell. 1 critical Wing Attack knocks it out. Next is Tangela. Again, 1 shot from Wing Attack. And last out, Vileplume. Guess what? 1 Wing Attack ends it. I didn't even heal up for more power points. Wing Attack has 35 power points. I left in this gym with 12 remaining. Every Pokemon was 1 shot, meaning I KO'd 23 Pokemon in 1 hit straight. And now it's time to gamble! By which I mean dominating Team Rocket in their hideout. I take out the grunts on the floors and make way to their boss Giovanni. Battle time. First out is Onix. He goes down in 2 bites. Next out, Kangaskhan. I use Wing Attack, taking it to yellow health, and I get hit by Bite, taking me to 113 health of 122. 1 more Wing Attack, takes it out, and last is Rhyhorn. 2 bites ends it. Team Rocket retreats and we get the Silph Scope. Now time to return to Lavender Town. Once in Pokemon Tower, we meet a rival. This is a completely one-sided fight. I'm severely overleveled here. First out is Pidgeotto, who uses Quick Attack, but he used 1 Ancient Power, taking it out, raising all of our stats. Next is Wartortle. I used Bite, taking it down halfway, flinching it. Our flinch luck with Bite has been incredible these last few fights. Another Bite takes it out. Next is Execute. Wing Attack takes it out, and next is Kadabra. 1 bite takes out, and last is Growlithe with Intimidate, lowering our attack, but it doesn't matter as 1 Ancient Power ends the fight. We put Marowak to rest, get to the top floor, disperse of Team Rocket, and save Mr. Fuji, who gives us the Poke Flute. Before I forget, we picked the guard's damn Tim Hortons tea up, so now we can finally enter Saffron City. I train up to level 50 to learn Hyper Beam, and then decide to try Silphco first. I get the card key and heal up before returning. A rival meets us, and he's trained a bit, but so have we. He starts off with Pidgeot. I use 1 Ancient Power to knock it out, and next is Blastoise. I bite, but he uses Protect. I bite again and barely do any damage. This is bad. Next, I attempt Hyper Beam, taking him to 1 HP, and uses Water Gun, taking us to half health. I have to recharge, so this is really bad. He Water Guns again, leaving me at 8 HP. My heart stops. As now, I have to one-shot everything, or I lose for the first time in this entire run. I finish Blastoise off with Wing Attack, and next is Execute. Easy Wing Attack, one-shot, and here's Alakazam. Luckily, we outspeed, and Bite takes it down to low yellow. Luckily, he uses Future Sight, giving us 3 turns to win in or we lose. One more Bite, finishes Alakazam, and last out is Growlithe. 1 Ancient Power wins us the fight, and I could not be happier. I saw my life flash before my eyes. Things just got serious fast. I decide I need to train more. I come back at level 63, and finally it's time for Giovanni. He starts off with Nidorino. I use Ancient Power to one-shot it. Next is Rhyhorn. I bite again, bringing it to low yellow. It uses Rock Blast, hitting 4 times, and I bite again to knock it out. Next is Nidoqueen, and I bite and it flinches. Next I use Ancient Power, and Nidoqueen uses Poison Sting. I use Ancient Power again, and my stats raise. He uses Tail Whip, and 1 Wing Attack later knocks it out. Finally, it's Kangaskhan. I use 1 Hyper Beam to win the battle. I then receive the Master Ball for my troubles. After Silphco, I decide that Saffron City is going to be a little too hard right now, so I take on a Fuchsia City Gym. Once I get there, it's Koga time. First out is Coughing. I use Bite and take it out in one go, and next is Muck. I bite again, and he uses Minimize. I then use Hyper Beam and one-shot it. Third is Coughing. I recharge and get Smoke Screened. I then bite to take it down to 1 HP, and I get Smoke Screened again. I go to bite, but Koga uses a Hyper Potion, then my next bite one-shots it, and last is Wheezing. I Hyper Beam for safety, and win the fight. Next, we head to the Safari Zone, as we need to get Surf. Here's the pathway if you aren't sure. I stopped every now and again as I was going off a pathway video. I also grabbed the gold teeth so that we can get the HM for strength as well. Afterwards, I plan to backtrack to Celadon City so I can grab Fly, which I forgot to earlier. Now that we have the HMs, and we have 5 gym badges, I can't really afford to dodge Saffron City Gym. The only other one is Cinnabar Gym, which will be a higher level. So I have to battle Sabrina now. She starts with Kadabra, and I use Bite to one-shot it, and become a senior citizen at level 65. Next is Mr. Mime, who survives a bite and uses Barrier. Then, she uses 2 Hyper Potions before I take out Mr. Mime, and next is Venomoth. I use Bite again, and Venomoth uses Supersonic. Luckily it missed, and another bite takes it out. Last is Alakazam, who survives a bite and flinches, and I finish it to earn the Marsh Badge. I was nervous, as Sabrina is usually a hard gym leader to face. Next, I decided to head to the Pokemon Mansion on Cinnabar Island. I would like to point out that if we had waited, this is the point of the game where we would have gotten Aerodactyl. So once I head to Cinnabar Island, I grab the secret key inside of the mansion so that we can now challenge the gym. I get through the gym fairly easily, and when it's time to fight Blaine, I'm not worried. He starts off with Growlithe, and I use 1 Ancient Power to knock it out. Next is Arcanine. My attack lowers due to Intimidate, and I once again use Ancient Power, bringing it to yellow health, and I eat a Fire Blast. I Ancient Power again and level up. Next is Ponyta. 1 Ancient Power knocks it out, and last is Rapidash, and 1 final Ancient Power gets us to win. I decide to level up to level 76 before I take on that final gym. Giovanni starts off with Rhyhorn, and I use Wing Attack, and he hits me with Rock Blast, dropping me to 151 HP. I then bite, and next is his other Rhyhorn. I bite into Red, and he Rock Blast again, dropping me to 87. He heals, and I get 2 consecutive bites, and next is Nidoqueen. I one-shot Hyper Beam, and next is Nidoking. I get hit with Thrash while recharging, and one-shot it with Hyper Beam again. Last out, Dugtrio. He slashes on the recharge, and 1 more Hyper Beam gets us a win. I was worried at first when it got dropped to yellow health by the Rock Blasts. That and his Nido King and Queen would poison me if I did anything other than Hyper Beam. Time to head to the Pokemon League, but it's rival time first. He starts off as usual with Pidgeot, and it goes down to 1 Ancient Power. And all my stats raise. Next is Blastoise. I use Bite and he flinches. I Bite again, he uses Rain Dance, and then I finish it with Hyper Beam. Next is Rhyhorn, who uses Rock Blast while I recharge, and I use Bite to one-shot it. Next is Growlithe, who lowers my attack, no matter as 1 Bite takes it out. Next is Execute, 1 Wing Attack knocks it out, and last is Alakazam, who I use 1 Bite to finish the battle. Now, on to the league. We make it to the league, and the final challenge is here, but before we begin, comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm pretty sure that I can, but it's going to be really tough. So, to start off the Pokemon League is Lorelei. She sends out Dugong first, and I Bite and crit. Next, I Bite again, and she uses Hail. After healing, I use Bite and then Wing Attack. Next is Cloyster. And I go to use Wing Attack, but she uses Protect. This happens again, and then finally, the hail stops. Only for her to put it back up again. After a Wing Attack, of course, another Wing Attack takes it out, and next is Jinx. I again use Wing Attack, and next is Lapras. I use Bite and get critically surfed and KO'd for the first time all run. Crap, I need to level more. I decide to max my level out and try again. Now that her level is maxed, it's Lorelei take 2 time. Dugong gets one shot by Wing Attack, and next is Cloyster. I Bite and it flinches. She uses a full restore, and 2 Wing Attacks later, it's down, and next is Jinx. I use Bite and she misses Lovely Kiss, and I knock her out with a Bite. Next is Lapras, the bitch that ended our previous run. I use Bite, not doing much, and she uses Confuse Ray. I use Bite to knock it out, and last is Slowbro. I use Hyper Beam to one-shot it, and we move on. That took 3 total attempts, and I'm happy that we didn't hit ourselves with the confusion. Bruno time, and first is Onix. I Wing Attack it, test the resistance, and get Rock Tombed. Next, I use Bite, and next is Hitmonlee. I Wing Attack it, knocking him out. Next is Machamp. It goes down to 1 Wing Attack. Next is his second Onix, who flinches to a Bite and heals. 3 more bites and a heal, and it goes down. Last is Hitmonlee, who goes down to 1 Wing Attack, and we move on in our first try. Now it's time for Agatha. She starts off with Gengar, who goes down to 1 bite. Next is Arbok, who lowers my attack with Intimidate. I use Wing Attack, she screeches, heals, and go down 2 Wing Attacks later. Next is Golbat, who goes down to 1 Ancient Power. Next is Haunter, who goes down to 1 bite, and last is the other Gengar, who lives on 1 HP, heals, and goes down to a critical bite, and we move on. Now it's time for Lance, and this is someone I've been worried about aside from Lorelei. He starts off with Gyarados, who lowers my attack instantly, and I use Bite. He then uses Dragon Rage. I use Wing Attack, and he heals after a bite, and I use 2 Wing Attacks to finish him off. Next is his Aerodactyl, and I knock it out with 1 Ancient Power. Try to steal my thunder, bitch. Next is his first of 2 Dragonairs, and I knock it out with 1 Hyper Beam. As I recharge, his second Dragonair comes out and uses Outrage. I then knock it out with 1 Ancient Power, and last is Dragonite, who goes down to 1 Ancient Power. We are now the Pokemon Champion, or we would be if our rival didn't beat us to it. I would also like to point out that this was my first attempt, and he went down a lot easier than I thought he would. Champion time! He starts out with Pidgeot, who goes down to 1 Ancient Power, and I raise all my stats due to that. Next is Blastoise. We both miss our attacks on the first turn, but I hit my Hyper Beam on the second, one-shotting his biggest threat to our challenge. Next is Rhyhorn, who uses Scary Face. As I recharge, I bite, and he misses his second Scary Face and goes down after another bite. Next is Alakazam, who gets one shot by Bite. Then next is Executor, who goes down to 1 Wing Attack. And last is Arcanine, who, you guessed it, went down to 1 Ancient Power, and we enter the Hall of Fame. Easiest champion battle of my life. So, As we go for the end credits here, I just want to talk about the run a little bit. This challenge was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. However, I did choose the power level a lot. This is something I think I'd like to keep doing. So, what would you guys like to see in the next challenge? Comment it down below. I do have a few ideas myself, but I'd like to hear your ideas as well. If I like it, I'll include it and possibly choose to do it next. These won't be done too often as they take a ton of time. This run by itself took about 2 months to do. Also, would like to thank Mah-Dry-Bread for the inspiration on this series again. And if you have any tips and tricks on what to do in these challenges, how to edit them, etc., please let me know. Also, that's going to be it from me. So, remember to like, comment down, and subscribe for more. Follow me on Twitter, SergeantM TV. And until next time, thank you so much for watching.